So we've seen some great people coming through, and we anticipate wonderful crowds, 30,000 plus here for Comic-Con, and a lot of them going to be lining up to be able to speak and see this man. This is Chris Claremont. Great to have you here on the show. Comic book writer, but let's just put it pretty blankly. Add the word X-Men right underneath you, and we pretty much have the selling point right there. Congratulations on the success of this. This is wonderful.
Thank you very much. That's very kind.
Something like this evolves. I mean, you got on board X-Men into the second issue. What was that like to be a part of a project like that and to see over 17 years the growth of it?
Well, the irony was that when I came aboard, I was a young punk, and no one had any faith at all in the project. It was a bi-monthly title, so it came out every other month. And it hadn't been that successful the first time around, and no one had any expectations. Believe me, if they had expectations, I wouldn't have been, as a young punk, wouldn't have been allowed anywhere near it.
But sometimes that's what you need, right? This young energy to come in and kind of create these ideas and these characters that you know.
Well, we were just too ignorant to know that we were doing something revolutionary.
What's the reaction from people in terms of what are they asking you? Are they asking you about the creation of these characters, how you saw them, the storylines? What do you most get when you're at events like this?
All of the above. I mean, the hardest part is to actually get people to ask questions, because, I mean, that's my mantra when I'm signing at a table is, by all means, ask a question. I can multitask. And everybody clams up, because suddenly it's like, oh my gosh, I have to think of something to say, and they don't know. So the most fun of these is dealing with kids. There was a long period of time where comics readers just got older and older and older, and there were no children coming in and looking at the books. And one of the hallmarks of my era of X-Men was that we designed the books to be accessible to all ages. There was a certain level of, I guess one could say, subtlety and restraint that allowed us to do stories that on one level could be read for the sophisticated subplots, but in terms of the basic story, it was a really cool action adventure that could be enjoyed, we hope, by 10-year-olds as much as 40-year-olds.
Well, and I think you get the aspect of them enjoying the reading, but then you get the kids coming in and seeing these heroes and seeing these superheroes that they want to be in, the storylines, and you've really created not only in the reading, but then when they see it on the big screen, it changes the viewership, it changes the audience of which it's reaching out to.
Well, it gets them excited, it gets them interested. They want to. I mean, my whole mantra in terms of the X-Men was always, you can't read just one. I mean, you could read one, but then you want to find out, well, what happened next? How did they get in this predicament? Where will they go from here? And to me, as the creator of a periodical product, which is what the X-Men is, that's what I want. I want the readers to come back next issue and next issue and next issue and enjoy the living daylights out of it.
And there's really quite interesting stories as to how these characters are evolved. You know, even coming up with Wolverine. Well, it's amazing.
Well, the interesting irony is that Len Wein, who created him, had a totally different vision than Dave Cockrum and I evolved for him. The original idea for Logan was that he was a young punk, and that the claws were not part of his body; they were part of his glove. So you took off the glove, there were no claws. And Dave and I talked about it, and it just didn't seem cool. So Dave came in one day and produced a sketch where the claws actually came out of the back of his hand, and I looked at it and kind of went, "Oh, that's disgusting." Oh, that must be cool.
That's pretty cool.
And we immediately translated it into the story, because the first time he pops his claws in the book, Jean Grey is right next to him, and she goes, "Oh my God, they come out of your body." And he said, "Yeah." And the scene was echoed in the first film, where Anna Paquin looks at Hugh Jackman and says, "Does it hurt when you do that?" And he just looks at her, and to me, that was where I figured I didn't care that he was the wrong height and everything else. This is what made him the Wolverine for me, is he just looks back with this little flash look and just says, "Every time."
Yeah.
And you suddenly have this sense of, oh my God, that's visceral.
There is so much that people would love to be able to ask you. I have 1,000 questions, but our time's run out, but people have the opportunity over the 3 days to be able, and you said by all means I can multitask as I'm signing the book,
Exactly.
ask the questions. So congratulations, it's truly remarkable what you've been able to do.
It's my pleasure.